Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. This is the Bay Oaks Recreational Campus Advisory Board, commonly known as BORCAB. And we are located at the Mound House on our beautiful facility here. It is Wednesday, November 1st, and the time is 12:06. Our meeting is now called to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge to our flag? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Well, let's give our names just for the transcribers so that they'll know who's here. I'm Betty Simpson.
Barbara Hill.
Becky Guidry.
And Jeff Hauge.
Joyce Sullivan.
Okay. And have we heard anything from Karen? Is
Karen's just running a little late. She had an appointment off island, so she's going to be just a few minutes.
Okay, but she will be coming.
Yep, she confirmed.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion for approval of the October 4th minutes? I believe everybody has received them.
Can we approve minutes? I have a question about the minutes, actually. Under the Friends of Bay Oaks report section, it says that Barbara recommended that Friends of Bay Oaks not be members of CELCAB and Friends of Mound House not be members of BORCAB, but I thought it was just as a director position, not members of them.
No, just as supposed to be board members, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
this was a suggestion. This is not a town-wide policy, which I
Right.
think basically it should be.
So it doesn't say like board members, it just says that you can't.
You can be
Yeah.
a member, but you can't serve on both boards.
Right, so it's
can't.
unclear here. I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right, you're
I think
right.
it was just
So we
misquoted.
need to make that clarification.
Yes.
It just makes it sound like you can't be on Friends of Bay Oaks at all.
Oh, yeah, no, that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
not
it's
correct.
No.
What page was
That
that?
one. The Friends of
Two
Bay
on the
Oaks.
bottom.
At the bottom of
The
page 2,
last
Friends of-
sentence.
under Friends of Mound House. Friends of Bay Oaks.
And that should be the Friends of Bay Oaks Board.
Right. So if we change that, then.
Do you want to recognize them first before we go
Pardon?
forward? Do you want to recognize the two of them before we go forward, because they may have some.
Oh, okay. I'd like to recognize our town manager and his assistant. And at this time, I hope that we're going to hear from you. We're just going to correct these minutes for a second, and then we'll give you the time.
I second that.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we have clarification now on the membership. You just can't be an officer.
She recommended that you don't be an officer yet. I don't think the CELCAB and BORCAB really, like it put Mound House with BORCAB and Friends of Bay Oaks with CELCAB. I'm not sure what got crossed.
Just the way they transcribed it.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think the intent here is that we want there to be a large membership of Friends of Bay Oaks, just like we want Friends of the Mound House
Yes.
to
Right.
be active and involved. The recommendation, because it's not legal as a policy, town policy, although I do believe it should be, but that the people that are serving as a member of CELCAB, which is an advisory board, not also serve as an officer of Bay Oaks, Friends of Bay Oaks. And that was, and the reason for that is the issue of the sunshine
For
law.
BORCAB or CELCAB?
I'm sorry, BORCAB.
So that's where it's mixed here also.
Right. Sorry.
It says Friends of Bay Oaks shouldn't be CELCAB and
Yeah.
Friends of Mound House should be BORCAB, so I think it's flipped.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, and you're right, that should not
Yeah.
even, CELCAB
Yeah.
shouldn't be on this, in this conversation, it should have been BORCAB.
Yeah, it should be.
And that could have been my error, I could have done that by mistake.
Okay, so can we have
We both serve on
clarification
both.
on that?
And again, that the only reason for that is that, number one, we all encourage greater diversity among the membership in terms of there not being an overlap. But the issue of sunshine law, if, for example, the Friends of the Mound House wants to, as a board, wants to make decisions, and then they want to talk to CELCAB members, it's a sunshine law
Yes.
issue.
Yeah.
Because like Betty and
Oh,
I.
yes. We're both on them, and, you know, we can discuss what we're gonna wear next week or something, but we can't discuss anything on here. So we're very careful about that. And it is a small community, so we do have some overlapping once in a while. But I think that any of us that have been in this for very long realize how important that sunshine law is and what it means to us. So, okay.
So the minutes approved as amended.
Yeah, so did you make the recommendation?
I don't know how to officially say that. Do I just read the sentence? Do I say like to recommend changing the, amending it?
Amend
Yeah.
the motion.
So
Yeah,
to recommend to amend the motion.
Okay,
I'm recommending to amend
And
the
I
motion.
second it.
okay. All right. So Becky
Someone there?
and Barbara. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay, so we are good. So at this time, let's hear from our town manager.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Actually, today starts my 7th month, so it's been an interesting 6 months. Took probably a good 30 to 45 days just to figure out which end was which, and you know what used to be where and what needs to come back. And we made a lot of progress. We really have in basically 4 months. The first 2 months were just a transitional period, unfortunately, but I want to thank you for your service, because volunteers are what really make communities what they are. You know, you can hire people all day long, but we love our volunteers that bring a different perspective to how we run government. So that's always welcome, especially in smaller towns. It really means a lot to us.
You bet.
One thing, and I know you're near and dear to the hearts of everyone around this table in this room, is our recreation, our cultural parks and recreation program, our department, and specifically Bay Oaks Park. Prior to me coming here, prior to the hurricane, there was an approved project. We have picked up right where that has left off. We have not made any major changes to anything that's been approved. I'm not sure what the buy-in or the contribution of this group was, and what the contribution of the elected body, or what the contribution of the previous town manager was. So we are where we are. I know that at some point we're going to be building a structure in there. We have to change that a little bit, because now we have to put it 15 feet off the ground. You know, that changes a lot, and that creates a lot of funding concerns, but we will survive. I actually think we should go ahead and build a gymnasium with it. You know, go ahead and do that project. We have obviously the Little League baseball field was outside of that. The gymnasium, the rec center was outside of that. But we're working on, obviously we finished the ball field. I can see the photo there. We are diligently working to get the gymnasium, the rec center up and running. We anticipate by the end of the month, the 1st of December, because the school starts, I think December 4th or 5th or 6th, somewhere in there. That's what I've heard. I've not been part of those meetings, but that's what I've been told. So that's our mark. We have to do something with the town hall. We are trying now to really focus in on that. We bounced ideas around. One of them was to build a taller building in the park, and now I'm not so sure that that's what needs to happen. That maybe we just stick with what we have, maybe modify it. I've heard some things that this committee would like to see, a few different things, and I'm good with that. That's Jeff's project, and I'm letting him run with it and lead with that. I think we've got a great opportunity before us, because nothing's been built yet. But we've got to get going. You know, we've got 100% drawings. We will have to modify them because of the hurricane, because of the FEMA regulations that we have to follow. We don't have an option there. The one option is do nothing. That's not an option. Options to build something that we can all be proud of, that can be used, that will be very much appreciated. Part of that also, outside of that scope that has been approved, is the swimming pool. We are addressing that now. We'll be bringing more information. We don't have a lot now, but we've got to ask the council for some funding to be able to start with drawings and to be able to start addressing that. We thought, let's get ideas, let's do this, but like, wait a minute, let's get the funding so then we, kind of like the cart before the horse. So the 20th will ask for some funding so we can start with drawings, start engaging architects, start engaging committees and individuals. We'll have some individual meetings. That way I can talk about it and bounce it off with everybody before we get in a public meeting. I think that's always important for us to communicate that way. So hopefully with Jeff and Frank and I will meet with each one of you individually. We'll meet with our council individually. Of course, I take my direction from the council and then input from a lot of places, specifically this group with BORCAB. We've got a beautiful area. We've got I think the equipment was ready to go in for the exercise area out front.
Yes.
You know, do we need to redo an entrance? Do we, how, you know, I think we all need to say, okay, if money was no object, where would we go? And then we work backwards. We'll be somewhere between here and there. And I think it's just such a focal point in this community, and the ball field has already started that synergy and bringing the park back to life. And a few things, you know, putting Jeff in place permanently, that was a big deal. That's a huge deal. And you are familiar with Jeff and what he's doing and staff. You know, we put people in place that are really visionaries and really have a lot of energy, and it's going to help me and help us, because I can't do it alone. You know, Frank's here to help. We have been, you know, unfortunately, I get pulled in, you know, 20 different directions every day. It's the most amazing job I've ever had, and I mean that good and bad, because I've never been in a town where you had to completely rebuild a town.
That's what you're doing, yeah.
And lift the spirits. I've never been the spirit lifter, if that makes any sense. But I think the personality that I have, the personality of Jeff and Frank and staff, is really a big deal for helping lift the spirits. I think that's the job that, you know, really goes unnoticed with a lot of people, is what good staff we have and what good they do in that area. We can bricks and mortar all day long and put dirt out and sod out and fencing up, but if people aren't, you know, emotionally prepared to be part of that, and so we want to pull everybody closer. It takes the village. I told staff a couple of weeks ago, there's no way, you know, I've been here a couple of months, and I'm like, I cannot do that. I really, and I meant that. I talked to my wife, I said, this is more than I can do. This is bigger than me. But then the pieces started coming together. I mean, they just started popping up. You know, Jeff popped up and Frank popped up. And, you know, just those little things make a big difference in how I like to manage a government. It's you know, it goes way back. It's about the people. It's we the people. It's not me. It's not Frank. It's not Jeff. It's us. And we've got to have these groups and again, volunteer groups. So I wish I had like, yeah, this is going to happen, but it's a challenge just to be able to get permitting under control and to get, you know, where traffic lights got to get put back, our street signs got to be put back, and we had to demolish a building because we couldn't ask other people to don't and force other people to demolish their unsafe structures until we did it. So we kind of understood that dynamic. So we're there now. Today's November 1st. It starts a new period in the unsafe structure. It's not about BORCAB at this moment, but it will be in a minute. It's, you know, it's that process that we have now. Now we turn the page. So we've had these little milestones, these little goals that we've established. So November 1st was another date. 1st of December is another date. So we've got these little goals that we're working on. Trying to get these wins. The ball field was a win. The big ball field that we're going to put in, it's going to be a win. The pickleball courts, going to be a win. I just figured out a way this morning actually to get all the pickleball courts put in. We're thinking, okay, with the trailers that we're going to put there temporarily, we could only put maybe one pickleball, but I think this morning I came up with an idea to put those, all 4 of them, right where they were supposed to be. So that's another win, and that's something that can happen really quick. So Jeff and Frank and I were talking about that this morning. There's a little configuring we're going to do, and we're always thinking, we're always trying to improve it. We're trying not to put the concrete down yet, because like my dad always taught me, and I think it's the old adage that everybody goes by, you measure twice and cut once. So we're trying to make sure that we measure everything properly and put it in the proper space. So once we get to a point, we will probably in the next 30 days be coming back before, with Jeff, maybe not me, but with Karen, and if it works out my schedule, and start talking about that community center. You know, is this exactly how we feel like it should be? Are there any differences? I believe we should go ahead and build the gymnasium while we're doing that. I think nothing's gonna be cheaper now because it was in a future plan. Well, we're in the future from when you made the plan. So let's look at how we can do that, because we've got that gymnasium. I'll talk all for the next hour and a half. I'm gonna have to stop in a minute, but that gymnasium made it through. So that's a good, that was solid. So we have to put things back even better than we ever imagined before. So we're thinking build a gymnasium. We can use both those gymnasiums for so many things. If we ever had another emergency or another community near us had one, we could open our doors to help people. So we've got to get it 30,000 feet and see how we can orchestrate everything. But the grassroots are right here, and we are so blessed to have committed people that have volunteered their time to help, and it's really important to us.
Well, of course, Bay Oaks is near and dear to our hearts.
Yes.
And we were told a couple of years ago, just dream, what do you want it to be? And of course, we did dream, and we dreamed big.
5 years ago. Yes.
How long?
5 years ago.
More than 5.
Oh
more
my
than
gosh.
5. And years.
Where does the time go? Yeah.
Just, well, it turns
Yeah.
out that our dream cost $15 million instead of
Yes.
the $5 million budget. So.
Exactly. So I think that one of the thrills that we had, so often if you're talking to somebody local and they'll say, where's Bay Oaks? And I get a little insulted. I think, what do you mean you don't know where Bay Oaks is? But they didn't. And so when they opened up the boulevard, because at one time that was not open, and we wanted a sign out there.
Gotcha.
And
Yes.
so we needed the entrance. And boy, when that came through, we thought we were in heaven. So it's the little steps that were taken that I think meant so much to us.
Yes.
Because all of us have been on this same board for some time, and we did. We dreamed big, and
I was given a drawing of the sign probably about 45 days ago, and we're like, okay, put it right there, but it's still on my desk. So we're ready to get that so we can get the sign put out front, so that even enhances that entrance even more.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful drawing, and so again, it is, you go in my office right now, it's sitting right on my desk, and so it's right in the morning. So it's right in the forefront of what we're trying to get done, so we can, so people who really don't know where it is, go down and see the sign there.
they're going to see it.
Yes, ma'am. We're excited.
Whether that'll be one way or two way, whatever it is, we're willing to listen and be a part of it.
Same here.
So, well, I want to thank our liaison, Karen, has just joined us. That's okay. We started a little bit late, so.
There's actually traffic on the beach. You
Oh,
can't
I
even,
know
it's
it.
like,
That's
You think it's
We can stop that. What's that?
right, stop that traffic.
It's
And
not
Joy is
season
on the
yet.
phone, just so you know.
It's
Oh,
not
hi, Joy.
season yet. So we're just getting started, and we're delighted to have our town manager and Frank with us, so that he was just giving us a little update, and we were having a little back and forth. So
Nice.
and that brings you right up to date.
Yes.
Perfect.
I just
So-
say one of the caveats I think we have had in previous years is that we would, create this dream or whatever, and then present it. And it's like, okay, this is how much money you have, and then it didn't really work out. So I'm looking forward to everybody working together and adjusting the goals and figuring out, where our budget lies and what we can do, and that's going to be a bonus for sure.
One thing about Frank doing, and one thing we've got the opportunity now is, unfortunately, we had a hurricane that gave us an opportunity financially. So there's some
Right.
things that we've been able to do, and we are continuing to work. I don't want to say play the game, but just work the puzzle to where funding sometimes is not necessarily not going to be a problem. We're even dealing with our insurance because we
Right.
were a little underinsured, but we're fighting a little bit now. So I've got 90 pages of claims that I've got to sign and get notarized, so we can go fight our insurance to get probably about another $4 or $5 million. So there's some things that we're doing that hopefully, money's always a problem in small towns, but we also have a different perspective on the future of this town
Changes
now
everything.
because of what the hurricane did. Things are gonna come back. Property values dropped 42%. They're gonna go up 42% in 3 years of where they were 3 years from now. I mean, it's just, you're just gonna see, maybe not that number,
Right.
don't quote me there, but there's gonna be
Oh, it's.
we will definitely see another, the pendulum will definitely swing back the
Yeah.
other way, and it'll be to the positive, so we will be able, but you strike the iron while it's hot, it's not gonna be any cheaper 2 years from now than it is today. So
Right, so
we'll
we
see
don't
what
wait
we
too
can
long
accomplish.
Probably.
And we got a great elected body that hired a pretty good town manager, I'm just kidding. Everybody else says it, so I'll say it. My mom thinks I'm a good town manager.
Yeah, me
Got rid of some-
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I just want to add that one of the things that I was a little disappointed about when we were brainstorming and doing this original community center, that the gymnasium was going to be a distant phase 2 that wasn't even going to be in the cards anytime soon. The fact that you've got that back on the front burner is huge for me. I
Yes.
think, and in some ways, you're right. I mean, Ian was horrific to live through, but the opportunities that we have now that we didn't have when we were having this conversation about a community center is incredible. I mean, I think the idea of merging the facility with town hall is perfect. And maximizing that acreage that we have there to the highest and best use for our community is the plan. What I'd like to see in the next coming months when you are discussing the site plan and the concept,
Yes.
that be part of the conversation that we can be engaged with.
Absolutely.
So what we've done in the past was when council or when staff has come to that point where it was a presentation, we draft forms so that input from the community would be recognized, heard, and hopefully implemented if it was a good idea, that would be part of the conversation and part of the
Sure,
process.
absolutely. Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, the nice thing about the redevelopment right now is and we were debating, is it 90% or is it 100% design? We couldn't find which percentage it was, but 90% of design,
I
even
mean,
if
it's
we went
done.
with that, I mean, it's ready to go. I mean, we do
Yeah.
have to raise it up and do a few adjustments, but I mean, the ball field is already staked out with the survey. I'll get to that later, but it's like all in place, so that's the nice thing.
You bet.
We can tweak it a little bit,
Yeah.
but if we don't have anything major, it's got the footprint.
If I'm not mistaken, about a month or two before the hurricane, that was about to go to bid.
Yes.
And so, the fact that it was that far along, it was approved and it was going out to bid, led you to believe that this is fait accompli. This was all vetted by the appropriate
Yeah.
committees.
Right.
In fact, we just I was doing a little digging and we found the bid package that was going to go out. So it was
Okay.
all ready.
Right.
It was, but anything can be tweaked now. Like
Sure.
town
And
manager
I'm-
said, it's
I'm thrilled that it didn't happen, because it's a clean
Right.
slate for all
We
of us,
are.
right?
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just have a quick question. I think, can you talk a little bit about the entrance? Because I heard at one point that might be a two-way street.
Well, we're kind of exploring all the options, just trying to look and depending, because we've got 3 access points there, 4 actually, that go into that area. In the big picture, it'd be nice to kind of close one off and kind of have everybody focus into one grand entrance. With the pool there and the exercise area that has been placed there, we've talked a little bit about possibly moving that. Karen and I, we talked about who wants to work out really basically on that street, and so we're still trying to find a good spot. If we decide to move that, then that can open the entrance up to make it a little more grandiose and landscaping, and it looks a little different. But it's still a work in progress. Still kind of discussing it a little bit.
And that always seems like it needs a traffic study.
Hopefully not.
Exactly.
It should, only because of where it's at. With the 2 medium roads right there, so you're just putting another direct access road, not a road, but a drive. So theoretically, we would not have to contact LDOT or FDOT.
Okay.
We wouldn't be changing
Okay,
the
good.
curb
Right,
cuts.
well, we wouldn't change the traffic input or the volume, we're just changing the flow, the direction of flow.
And they would support it because if we reduce an exit, basically just where the houses are, maybe make that a dead end where there's not a lot of traffic coming, and you're just shifting the traffic to a more controlled location versus 3 or 4 different egress points. They like you to funnel it down to one
And
area.
it would seem to me, with so
Interesting.
many activities going on concurrently, both with town business and recreation business, that the traffic flow would be crucial in
Yes.
terms
Yeah.
of, you know, the
You bet.
highest and best use
Yeah.
And with the
of
school.
how that
and-
works.
We have Myerside right there. It's my
Myerside
understanding that
got their
Myerside
own-
was gonna use the entrance as well.
No, they've got their own.
They got their
Okay.
street mark with the library.
I think in that,
Okay.
that
They're one
presentation, they would
So they're not
They would
changing it.
still use the R1 way.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I thought with the new presentation, they were talking about the one way.
Our side.
Yeah.
And of course, the roundabout
But I think
was,
it was just
They've been privy
going
to that.
out. Because you'd come in this way and then come out, I think.
I thought our entrance was only an entrance. Like there was
Well,
ours is only
initially.
or else
Well,
design, I mean,
in the
that's,
center part it is.
Yeah, the
Well,
center.
it's meant to be,
Yeah.
right? Everybody uses it for 2.
yeah. And at one time, we had a roundabout in there,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you know, and
But if
that
the bus
made
couldn't
sense.
turn.
Yeah, yeah,
The trolleys.
but I don't know if that
That
would work
made
out.
it.
Yeah,
Still a lot to think about.
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So,
We have a great opportunity.
Well,
But it does,
I,
can I just say one thing? It does present an awesome opportunity to beautify. I mean, that whole section right there is so ugly.
We're on it. Yeah, we're on it. We-
Yes,
we
Yes.
Definitely.
I'm sure
We
they're
want to
on
make it a
it.
show place regardless of what happens.
Yeah, and Joy, we have kind of a plan with our environmental Chad Schutz. He's got a plan to plant more trees kind of anywhere that we need to. So that was one of the areas that we looked at as well, along with maybe some by the ballpark, the new ballpark in there too. So we are looking at putting more vegetation in there, trees for some shade canopy
Good.
as well.
And to the other point, as far as just kinesthetic value, the island used to have beautiful royal palms. Looking at all the historic photos, we want to incorporate as many royal palms back to give you that nice big stately look, sort of like when you go up to McGregor and you're going towards Fort Myers, you know, with the Firestones and Edison's originally did.
Right.
Doing that boulevard all the way from there to the sea, basically.
in Fort Myers,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
And they carried that here on the oldest Arrow Island, which was this place. So if you look at a lot of the historic photos, you do see a lot of the royal palms. We want to incorporate those as we move forward. All our trees were pretty much wiped out.
Right.
And so the ones that are laying here are, for all intents and purposes, are the weed trees, the coconuts. You know, they'll sit there and bend but not break.
Right.
Royal palms bend and don't break either once they're established. And they give you such stately beauty.
well,
They're
It
beautiful.
does.
and I hear what you're saying about Fort Myers, the city of palms was named the city
Yep,
of palms
exactly,
simply because of the royal palms
Exactly.
and Edison's contribution to make that McGregor Boulevard happen. However, Fort Myers Beach never had royal palms. It was always coconut palms, and we never considered them to be weed
Really?
trees.
Sure did.
I mean, all of that whole area before it even became Times Square was filled with coconut palms, no royal palms.
Wow.
Royal palms didn't start coming onto the island until the town redid the infrastructure going to Bowditch Point.
Until
And
we
those
brought
royal
them
palms
up.
were put in for the first, am I right?
Yep.
That's
Which
north of Sterling?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the first time we ever had royal palms on the
Yeah.
island. Not to say that they're not a native, I know you can find royal palms in part of the Everglades forest, so, but
But we're
it
known
was
for
always
the
coconut palms, and the reason why we felt that the beach had its own identity, separate and apart from Fort Myers, which we want to enforce and influence and, you know, promote, is that we're not Fort Myers. We're, you know, this is not a stately island. This is a fun, funky, casual place, and royal palms are nice to have in addition. But the coconut palms, as far as
Yes,
am I right,
exactly.
Betty?
Oh,
Because
yes,
Betty's been
indeed.
here
Yeah. No,
since
no.
1954, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's the year we both came.
Yes, it is. Although you stayed the whole time. I left and I came back, so.
You can't even grow coconut palms very north of here, right? Is it
You
true?
can't grow, that's the other thing. It's exactly, Becky, because royal palms cannot grow north of, coconut palms cannot grow north of Ruskin. It's just too cold. And so it, again, reinforced our uniqueness as a barrier island and a tropical barrier island at that. So royal palms can grow north, but again,
But we're
and-
tropical.
Right, but then I recently learned that coconut palms are a weed tree. I never knew that until this year, all the years I've lived here. A weed tree, can you
I know
imagine?
they consider it an invasive tree.
Yep.
An invasive-
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch
Right.
days grow weed.
But they
Just
give
grow
it
for
the
the
moniker
coconut.
only because what happens, the coconut drops in the water, it can salvage in that little unit,
Yep.
it washes on shore, takes
Here it
root,
comes.
and here it comes.
And
Oh,
it
it'll grow
also
roots in the
protects,
water.
it also protects the land.
It does, the roots and everything, right?
It's
You
like
can
a
pull the
mangrove.
coconut out of the
you know?
water
That's
with
interesting.
weeds on, like with the roots on it. Like it's growing in the water. Like it starts
Yeah.
when it's in the water still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is
So-
they're dangerous when those things
Oh,
Well,
Oh yeah, if you're working under it, you need to buy
That's the
coconut.
consideration, is always public safety.
Uh-huh.
Plain and simple.
Well, that's the thing too, is you always have to keep them.
And maintenance,
Cut.
maintenance is
Right.
hard on those.
Hot maintenance.
Well, you have, I mean, royal palm fronds are pretty darn heavy.
And they'll come down and shoot at your car too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Regardless of what species ends up in the plan, it's going to be vigilance on city staff to keep after it.
In terms of
They may
merits.
understand that.
But they're so pretty. I mean, they're so tropical, and we
Yeah.
gotta have those. Yeah.
So enough of the conversation about species of palms. Sorry about
We got
that.
another meeting, so
Thank you
Yes.
for coming here.
Thank you so much.
appreciate it.
being here,
And
Andy.
thank you so much for the great
It's been
job you guys are
wonderful.
doing.
See you
And
guys.
nice to meet you, Frank. Too.
Nice to meet you as well, too, Matt.
Okay, good. Well, that was kind of a special time that we had right there, so I'm delighted that we were able to have
That's
that
good.
conversation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Give you an
well then we
update.
can move on to our staff liaison report. Jeff?
Yeah, they kind of hit on a lot of it.
Yes.
You know, they talked about the pool, and we're still, I keep wanting to say it, we're still working on it. You know, we have a couple different options, I think, maybe that are floating around, but nothing solid as of yet. But hopefully, you know, like Andy said, that what that building's gonna look like. And if, I don't, it's all kind of a flip of the coin right now. The conversations are just going around like the town manager said, you know, everything's kind of evolving and we'll go from there, but you guys will be a part of it for sure. Just some activities and events. We're gonna do the Bayside Concert Series down at Bayside Park, which is gonna be great every Sunday, starting November 12th, from 4 to 7. And it's gonna be sponsored by a number of people, the Chamber, Snug Harbor, Wahoo Willies,
That's good.
Beach Talk Radio. Am I forgetting one? So it's going to be a good event. I think the last couple concerts that we've had down there have been just fantastic. They're really, as a town staff, inspiring to see our park being used and all the people that are enjoying themselves down there. Everyone has been really respectful. They've cleaned up after themselves very well. I mean, the last concert, Andy, actually, town manager Andy and I stuck around and cleaned up just a few cups.
Wow.
So it was really clean. Obviously, you're gonna have some kind of trash, you know, if you have
Sure.
that many people, but just a great atmosphere. You know, it brings life to those restaurants, and you know, they walk up and down Old San Carlos, and hopefully they'll shop a little bit, get some ice cream. So that's our plan.
When does it start?
The 12th.
A week from Sunday.
Yes.
And what is the time again? 5 to 7? 4 to 8?
4 to 7.
4 to
4 to
7.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says on here.
Yep.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
And people bring their own chairs.
Bring your own chairs, yeah. For sure. Yeah, there's spots to sit. There's a few benches. People sat on the ground. I mean, there's artificial turf there, so it's a nice
You can
place.
bring
if
a
you want
blanket
to
if they
sit.
come
Yeah, you
early
could,
and
yeah, for sure.
stake out there.
I got down there about the last one. I got down there about an hour before, maybe a little hour and a half before, and there was already a lot of the spots filled.
Wow.
It was
Before it
amazing.
started?
An hour?
Like an hour before it started.
Before it started.
It was like probably half or 3/4 of the way with chairs on that turf already, so.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So
That's
can
good.
people go in, like say to Wahoo Willie's and get a drink and bring it out to the street and sit there and
Yep.
listen to the concert?
Yeah, we,
So there
it's
is
on
an
the,
open container.
yeah, it's gonna be,
variance.
hopefully, it'll be approved on Monday.
Yeah,
It's in
okay.
on the blue sheet to get approved through the council. It has to be a council approved.
it'll be approved.
But I mean, last time,
No, Snug set up their table and bar
Yeah.
there, so the whole idea is you cannot bring your own coolers. You know, you can bring chairs, just no coolers, and you purchase it from
Correct.
either Wahoo
Right.
Willie's
So you just have to have the
or
option, yeah.
Snug or
Yucatan.
Nervous
Nellies
Nellies.
will
Or
be
Nervous
open.
Nellies when they're
SMB is not open yet, right?
Yeah.
No.
yeah, we don't want them walking down the street with it, so
No,
I
it would
did,
just be from
I did the
Nervous
confines of
Nellies
the
or
park.
whatever.
So you
Okay.
can't walk on,
Not
on
Yucatan.
the premises, yeah. So, yeah, but they can walk over from all those, and it's just such a great location
It
with
is
all those
wonderful.
restaurants and.
Well, it's right there
bars
on the
there.
premise.
Yeah, and people,
Yeah.
like I said, have been very respectful.
You bet.
A lot of dancing going on last time.
That's awesome. I think I saw some
Council
video.
danced a little bit.
Yes, I think, weren't you dancing too?
I did not dance.
You
no.
did not?
I was filming.
Okay,
No one
we have a
needs-
rumor going there.
No. I cannot dance. Just want to do another huge shout out to all the staff and all the support that we got from the Little League Field. It was a fantastic event. I know some of you were there, which thank you for that. You know, Major League Baseball put on a show. I thought they were gonna be the MCs, but apparently I get to be. So
It was wonderful. And it was
but-
wonderful seeing the kids.
yes,
And
the
to
kids were
see
down there.
kids on, you know, the turf and at Bay Oaks and the activity,
Right.
the energy that was there was wonderful.
And you couldn't turn on the news station the next day or even that night
Yeah.
without it being on there. So
It was phenomenal.
That was great.
Like multiple parents were just in the audience watching. They're like, "This is such a great event." I mean, it was so good.
we want to do more events like that on the field. I think you'll see it from the survey. You know, a movie on there, some other things, concerts, little concerts maybe. But yeah, we're just looking to utilize any of our facilities that we've done. So
Just get activity going.
that's right. So I know that's a lot again, but any questions on that? Thank you. So.
I think that's pretty complete. So,
What
thank
about, I
you.
have one question.
Yeah.
What about reaching out to a lot of the people who did our aerobic workouts and all the workout things within
Like
the
our
rec center?
instructors or
Yeah, like the instructors and things?
Yeah.
Are they coming back? Or
We
what's
have-
happening with that?
one for sure that I know Nicole just sent the agreement to. She actually wants to maybe do yoga, sunrise yoga at Bayside as well. So we're starting that. I think you just sent her the contract, right? So, but yeah, and then also I can't remember the gentleman's name from Hammerhead. He has some people that
And
Armand.
Armand.
They're doing classes, right?
Yeah, they're going to do like a contract with us. Hopefully, we're just kind of in the works. If they can bring down some of their instructors.
Because right now they're meeting at Moss Marine on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And
Okay.
they're working out on the concrete.
Yeah, yeah. So we're talking.
With free weights or what did that, what?
He brings all kinds of stuff, and there's a lot of weights and, squats, and then they have mats and running around the neighborhood.
Almost like a boot camp,
It's like a boot camp thing.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, there's all levels of those boot camps too. I mean, for all ages, it's great. So,
Yeah, it's beyond my pay grade these days.
but we'll still do, the body pump and the
Yeah.
step, those kind of things. But yeah, we definitely are gonna get some of those people back working at Bay Oaks. Did I answer your question?
All right.
Yes.
I like that, yes. Okay, well, let's move on then. And the next thing on our agenda would be the Bay Oaks, or the Friends of Bay Oaks with Jesse. And since we haven't heard from him, I guess we'll just put that on the agenda for the next
Okay.
meeting. We'll just continue that. And that brings us to item 8, the redevelopment plan, Bay Oaks campus.
So I put that on here just to start. I know that was a big conversation with Andy. The town manager just before was, you know, now that we have another clean slate, you know, we have something in design, but what are some more ideas that we may want to incorporate with that? You know, if we had, you know, obviously we know budgets and what that is, but if there's anything that we missed out on the first go around with the design, we can definitely look at that. And I think, you know, the conversation you know, does everyone still have the redevelopment plan?
Yeah, but I was gonna say it'd be helpful.
Ian destroyed all of
It
mine.
is on our website, but I'll try to send out a little more detailed things to BORCAB.
Okay.
and
We
put
could
them
look
in
at the
our
picture
packet
when
for
we're
next time.
Yeah.
The amphitheater was important to us.
Yes, yeah,
You know.
we definitely want to do that back.
Yeah. You know, some of the things that we had put emphasis on,
Mhm.
so I should think that would be one of them.
We had so many things though that were cut from it that I would love to regroup with Andy and Frankie on. So we should actually have one of our meetings, just kind of discuss that, and when they get plans and just say, this is what we were really going for. You know, this is
Right.
the scaled down version that you've only seen, but what we really wanted was,
Yeah.
and unfortunately I don't
grandiose.
have any of those either anymore, so.
Right.
Well, I have them. I'll send them out because we have all of
Okay.
them, and I know
Okay.
most of them are online on the website under Bay Oaks, so Bay Oaks redevelopment.
Okay.
But where was I going with that? Just with it being a community center versus a community center town hall. Now that we don't have that fire department property, it kind of, we went back to almost square one a little bit. Like, do we just build on our property? Do we not? So, of course, you know, I talked to Barbara yesterday, and we were discussing just stuff, and it changed from today. So it's just like, it changes from day to day, and that's
Yeah.
kind of our mindset of how things are gonna have to be, I think, until we get some definitive plans. But we do want to go quick with it, and we're just kind of throwing out ideas. But yeah, I think maybe the next one we'll just talk about the redevelopment, if that's what you guys want to.
I think that could be our
I know.
topic for next week, but, I mean, next month's meeting for
Yes.
sure. But you know, just from my experience, working with BORCAB those years and doing that beautiful brainstorming session and dreaming big as we were encouraged by council to do. And then finally looking at the reality of what it ended up, no one was happy.
Right.
No one was happy. It was very institutional. It is not inspirational as a building.
Right.
I would love to see an architect come in, and now that we know it's got to be 16 feet, now that we know
Mhm.
that it can be a combined facility with a variety of activities, for an architect to come in and really make it spectacular. And by spectacular, I don't mean spending a lot of money, but I do believe that this gives us the opportunity to do something spectacular and inspirational. And welcoming. This was as exciting as a school or a hospital. It was
Yeah.
just awful. And the other question I had is really sort of more procedural. I never quite understood why there was Bay Oaks and the community pool. Why is it just all under Bay Oaks? Why does it even need to be called a community pool? So in other words, Bay Oaks includes the pool, includes the ball fields, no less or more important, but combined.
Right, and I think it just falls under because the sign is going to be, I remember it being a little different, right? Bay Oaks Recreational Park. Didn't we have to add parks in there for some
We had to add something, I can't remember.
grant or
Yeah.
something that we got,
Right.
that we received? Sorry.
Yeah, now that you
So-
mention it.
I think
Yeah.
before it was Bay Oaks Recreational Campus, so then you had Bay Oaks Recreation Center, you had the community pool, so I don't know if we can.
I know, because to me, the pool is no more or less important than the ball field,
Correct.
than
That's
the
right.
racquetball courts, than the workout facilities, that the
No, it's not any.
I remember we put it
Yeah.
on the sign, but I can't remember what the sign says now.
I think it was Bay Oaks Recreational.
I don't even
Would it
remember.
have anything
Because it
to
was
do?
It's
it was
something
Bork,
about community
right?
pool.
Bork. It would have been Bork, not Bork.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Bay Oaks Recreational Park.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Like we were saying, now we're at 90 or 100%. Let's just get it done now. And I was like, Like I can't.
Well, no, and that's just an option.
No, I get it.
Have
And
that
he
as an
doesn't,
option,
there's no
but-
background involved in that.
Right.
And
And I wasn't involved in
I
much
totally
of
get what
that.
Barbara's
I
saying.
mean, at the very end, but
Right.
No,
It's like when you're
it was
redoing your house, now you have
basically-
opportunities that you didn't have
say,
before
wow,
this.
I never-
after the fact,
Contractor
you know,
said, we can
I
do
think
this.
this is a good thing.
Never thought of that, let's do it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it have to do with the pool, the way we did it initially, with the donations and all?
It was some sort of park designation or something. I don't know. It
Yeah.
had to say something.
But in
Because
the,
I
the
remember-
neighborhood,
Yeah.
this had to say, I'm pretty sure it had to say park because there's a parks grant or
We had a
something.
whole
Well,
vote
the
on that.
park would be appropriate, but
Yeah.
park would include a pool.
Yeah.
Just like a
Yeah.
park
Yeah.
could include the gym.
Exactly.
Do you
In
have
this
a picture
case,
of the
it's going to be
sign?
the park including the town hall.
Possibly. Yeah.
Do you have a picture of the sign by any chance?
I don't.
Yeah, we
Do
would
we?
like to see the sign.
Do we know if we
Yeah.
have a picture?
I don't know if I do either.
Let me ask Jason. Jason said they have a markup, so I'll. And it's they kind of put it on hold for us. Like they have everything, but you know we had a delivery date and they just said wait, hold off since we don't have anywhere to put it.
Wait, is this it? Unless I have an email. Or did we change it?
Pool. Oh, is that what your pool and recreational campus? Is that why you were?
Email.
I don't know. Is that the welcome
But I
sign?
don't know
know.
if we changed it.
I don't know if I've honestly.
Yeah,
have
that, you know,
I
and
see that
again,
they might have changed
we've got to get a message in terms of what our image is supposed to be like. That's
Right.
not the best.
Nah, it looks
I
very.
actually-
It's really not.
I actually think that's what it ended up to come to, but we don't have to do that, right?
Well,
Because we don't even have that, do we even have that grant anymore? Or can we still get that grant?
We still have it.
Oh, we still have it,
Yeah.
okay. Then
That you mean the?
You did like it in June.
The $5,000 or that one?
Whatever grant we had to put the park name in.
Yeah, we have that one extended. Well, right now through May,
Okay,
and then but the bank is willing to extend it even farther because of the circumstance.
Yeah,
Okay.
that big one,
Cool.
which is.
I mean, it's not a for sure thing after May, but they did say they'd work with us.
okay.
Okay.
But could you, I mean,
I'll-
if this is an option for us to have a conversation
Yeah.
about, I know that
That's-
when we were doing the Mount House, we were very involved with the museum interpretive panels,
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
signage.
Yeah.
It was kind of.
Was that so? The sign wasn't vetted through BORCAB at all?
Well, this is
No.
We had the wording,
Uh-uh.
but we never had the sign approved through.
No,
Oh,
there was
I'll check
a
on
lot.
But
that
I
wasn't
think like
vetted
the
to us.
welcome.
That's the nice thing about a clean slate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like Andy,
Yeah.
town manager was saying, it's.
Yeah.
And we can have the hands-on that way.
Yeah, I'll check with because I know Jason Freeman, the Public Works, was more involved in that grant before I got on.
Uh-huh.
But I know we had briefly talked about it being, I think, halted in production. So
Well, and to be honest, unless you guys are really convinced about the town hall, I think the whole idea of even having that sign might be a little premature.
oh, if it's not, yeah, well,
Because
that's
if
true.
it's going to include town hall, the sign that would have to be changed.
Yeah, true. So we have
Indeed.
we have a little time. So
Putting the cart before the horse, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
Really?
So I'll check with him to see where he's at with
Okay.
where we're at with the sign.
Good.
Work.
Close this. Hurry up so fast, okay,
Oh, yeah,
there.
thank you.
So yes, we just had it on the agenda item just to, to start the conversation because we're
Mhm.
really starting to really think about it.
You bet.
And if I know all of you or most of you have expressed your, I don't know if it's displeasure with how it turned out, but I know that there were things that may possibly could be changed. So
Mm-hmm.
now would be the time to do it. So
Well,
I will
and we
next.
go back to that clean slate.
Yeah, so I'll for next meeting, I'll put everyone, I'll send out all the plans that I have electronic,
Okay.
including site plans. And the only thing that may already have started might be the ball field, but that's kind of,
That was
Yeah.
totally
it is what it
fine.
is. It is what it
That's
is
what it
there,
is.
yeah. It's not
Yeah.
gonna go any, it's not
That's
gonna
how we wanted
change.
it where it was. So
Yeah.
Everything else can go around it.
And the same thing
And
with
it-
Little League Field and the big ball
Yeah.
field, and I
Yep.
would say 90% of the pickleball courts were all
Yes,
approved, and so that's all just,
yeah, and I couldn't remember if it was 90% or did we go to 100% design? Does anybody remember?
I remember the 90, but I don't remember.
I don't know what that extra 10% if that was FFE
Mhm.
or if that's actually design.
and that was just sort of a variable
But
that they.
even 90%, I mean, it's it's
Well,
good.
going out for bid, I think certainly assumes a certain
Yeah.
level
Yeah,
of.
exactly.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that will be that'll just be the main part of our agenda.
We need to make sure that Andy and Frankie can come to that.
Okay, I'll check with them.
Because I mean, I just think it'd be really helpful for us and appropriate to have them there because they're the ones that have been working on
Oh,
it.
yes,
and
yeah,
We got to,
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Or just
It's
one
like
of
when
them
we
can come.
wanted to
or
have
whatever.
Mhm.
DRMP
Yeah,
in
live the book
here.
up.
Not that they
like an
share the
hour.
same
Yes.
brain,
Yeah.
they work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was important for us to have DRMP come in to these things, you know. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Are they still working on this? I mean, are they the?
They gave us, we paid for the designs, so we have all those.
yeah, I don't think they're going to be
I don't
working
think
on
That's
this
what I was
weekend.
wondering.
Okay, that's
so
what
they
I
would be
was
somebody
wondering.
else.
Mhm.
Okay.
Same with the ball field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We've gone through every contract and just, we're starting over.
Okay, that clean slate.
Yep, clean slate.
You bet. Okay. Well, let's move on to member items and reports. Does anybody have anything to add?
I don't have anything extra that I can think of. I'm looking forward to the next meeting.
I know.
Yes.
Well, and hopefully all of our members will be able to be here
Hopefully, yeah.
at the next meeting.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back to Fort Myers Beach.
Are you back at the next
well,
meeting?
we'll be
Couple
happy.
days, right? Couple days?
Yeah, coming back on Saturday.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Are
we'll
you-
be happy to
Are you
have
in
you here,
snow at
Joy.
this point?
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, yep.
Everywhere's
I'm
snowing
sure
up here,
Oregon,
right?
they probably got some. Do you have snow there, Joy?
No, Oregon is pretty temperate.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
so
good.
Joy, you will actually be here.
When is,
Yeah.
when is
That'll be
the next-
great.
My brother has
First
Thank
snow.
you.
Wednesday of December, let me see.
December
December 6th?
6th?
Is that,
That's the first Wednesday.
That's the first Wednesday. So at noon?
At noon,
12 o'clock?
again,
Works.
that seems to work out. Okay. And, so December 6th at noon,
Yep, that's what I have for noon.
and the main thing will be those redevelopment plans. with the
And I'll
clean
send those,
slate.
I'll try to get those out real early so you can have time to
Okay.
review them.
Good.
Okay.
Anything that
Might be
you've got would be greatly appreciated. Okay. If there is nothing further to come before this group, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
Okay, Barbara, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Becky, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Right.
And we are adjourned at 1:05. Well, just exactly 1 hour.
Nice. Well
Yeah.
done.